ba. Doctor Strange. Everywhere says. Well, so what
It's when
part
we're
did you?
alive, right?
Yeah, this is where you're live now. What part did you
Yeah.
walk out on?
I was like walking through the doors when they realized that on the statue he died fighting Thanos, and then they were like, "I wonder who the new guy is," and I was like leaving as
You
that
missed
happened.
half the
So,
movie.
yeah, I
Oh,
know. It wasn't very. I was so bored.
wait a second. You
It
watched the
wasn't-
beginning, right? And then up to that
yeah,
part. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, I was just like not really that interested by
Wait,
it.
hold on. Why does your microphone sound like shit?
I don't know.
It sounds like shit, man. Anyway, you weren't that interested by
Well,
it.
hold on. Let me see if I can just change something. Change. Hmm. What sounds bad about it?
It sounds like you're like really close and it's like clipping.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I would say that the first act of the movie was the weak point of it, and
Yeah, it was pretty.
mm,
Did that fix
wait,
it?
now it's super quiet. What happened?
Okay, that's what I thought. All right,
Anyway, I would say the first act was the weak point of the movie because
hold on. All right. What about now?
yeah, that's normal now. That's good.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There was. I would agree. I mean, like, yeah. What I saw was. Well, here's like another big thing with it is like,
Hmm.
dude, right away, I didn't think the special effects looked done.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
thought
just
a
like,
lot of the
dude,
CGI at the
this
beginning didn't look great.
another cheap fucking movie. I'm like, what's
Hmm.
going on? I'm like, are we getting all the stuff that got made like during COVID while everyone had their fucking pajamas on? Because nothing that I've seen recently looks good. It has no fidelity.
Hmm.
This was off the jump. The fucking silver thing that was like flying through the air right away, it looked awful. I was just like, wow, that looks bad. And then I was like, maybe they just didn't pay the guy to do the first part because it's coming in so fast, but it comes in and it looks like shit. I
Hmm.
can tell. And then it kind of smoothed out. And then it got into the stuff, but then the acting looked bad. There was like, because like you could tell that they were on a green screen, but you could tell that they were not running at full speed, and it's like they're clearly running for their lives, but this bitch is like fast walking so she can say her lines, and I can see it and it doesn't. So right off the jump I'm like, and I already didn't want to see this movie. Like it hit me today like how much I didn't care about this movie. I was like, you know what, I don't want to take 2 hours out of my day to not play Elden Ring to go see this. That's how I like looked at it. And I like compared it to like how badly I wanted to see Spider-Man. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this movie. And then Carlos didn't want to go see it. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I kind of don't want to go see it. And then you messaged me again, and I had been like looking at movie times, and there was like one right when I got off work or whatever. And I mean, I literally got there like as the movie started playing, like I missed all the credits and everything, so it like lined up. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll probably be able to do that and pull that off.
I'm trying to figure out what I missed because I got
But
there a little late. The first scene I saw was that they were in the wedding.
oh my God, you missed the whole CGI in the beginning, the
Oh,
whole thing. It was a huge. Oh my God!
from what
It's
I
like the
gather,
whole it sets up like the whole thing with him
okay,
in the
well,
movie.
don't act so surprised. You're the one that left
Yeah,
it
okay,
halfway through the movie, so you missed
sure.
more of the
Yeah, well
fucking
now
movie
I'm
than I did.
now I'm
You
yeah
watched
now
half the fucking movie. Don't be like, oh my god, you
I'm.
missed 5 fucking minutes. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but it actually was like a pretty big part. It seemed. Some movies start with like a throwaway action scene, but it was
Mhm.
like important. So it was like an alternate multiverse Doctor Strange and then America Chavez were like running through some weird like oh man, you haven't been to that level in fucking Elden Ring yet, so I can't even compare it to that. But it's like this place where everything's like falling apart and they're like running on rubble and some like weird shit. It's like all crazy. And it's in space, so like the background is all like blue and starry, and that was like it was visually stimulating and stuff. But also everything in Doctor Strange is also like imperceptible. So like it's also kind of like And then the thing that was chasing them was supposedly a demon, but it didn't really look that evil. And Doctor Strange was doing some cool magic stuff to like contain it. So the demon was like trying to chase America Chavez to like take her power. You probably know that already.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried to kill her. He had it like trapped, and it was like escaping his spell. And he's like, I can't hold it. And then he started like sucking out her power, and she was like, oh my god, if you take my power, I'm gonna die. And he's like, yeah, I know, but in the grand calculus of the multiverse, your small sacrifice is like. And then he gets killed by the demon.
Wow.
And you're like, holy shit. And then her fucking like shit triggers. Well, they're like going for that book, right? So they see the book. The book's like inside, but the demon's like between them and the book. So while the demon is like killing Doctor Strange, she like goes under it in the dumbest fucking way. By the way, she does like a gym. Do you remember Lost World when the black girl does gymnastics and she did something that was like akin to that, and it was like and I'm like, God, this movie's got such a bad start for me. Like, it's just like doing
Maybe
all
that's
these.
why I liked it. Is because I missed that whole part.
Maybe, yeah, because it wasn't really good. It's just like doing all these like little things that I'm just like, God, you're not instilling any confidence in me at all. And I'm like, ugh. But Cumberbatch is really good as Doctor Strange. So like he like really keeps you in it. But the girl in this I didn't think was good because she wasn't good in these scenes, and I didn't think she was very good in other scenes. She was pretty stiff.
Well, I want to talk about that too. I'll talk about that a little later. But
So anyway, she goes under the demon. She doesn't get the book. The demon catches her, and then her power activates, and then Doctor Strange like wakes up for like a second and like tackles her out of the demon's grasp, like through it. And then that's how she ends up in like their universe. But like that all happens, and you have no idea what the fuck's going on, right? And then he like wakes up in his bed, and then from a dream, because he's like he dreamt that, and then
right.
And then he like gets dressed for the wedding, and then he goes to the wedding, and then like nothing really significant happens there. There's a guy in the pews that starts talking to him about
I saw that
the results of Endgame. Yeah, okay, that was actually interesting, but they didn't really do too much with it.
Who
but
is
I was
that
like
guy?
pretty.
Was that
I
a
don't
doctor
know,
from the first movie? I think he's a doctor in the first movie.
Probably.
That's how they know each other. Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah, because he called him Dr. West, so I assumed that, but I couldn't remember who he was. But I didn't even care because I was just interested by like the point that he brought up. But they didn't really like touch too much on that.
Well,
and
the
then
whole first half of Endgame was that, so I don't need any more of that.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and then that's when like the tentacle monster came. And honestly, like this scene just like didn't do anything for me. It looked some of it looked bad, most of it looked good, but like there was like one part where like Wong was being like carried upside down in the tentacle hand,
right.
and it looked like garbage.
Yeah, I agree. That's the part that I was talking about. It looked really bad.
You know, it looked like the shit that like impressed me when I was like impressed. I was like, when I saw that the first time, I was like, damn, in like 2 years, this shit's gonna look fucking good. They're like using CGI effects from like 2010 or something. Like, this shit looked really bad. Because like I've seen CGI now that the fidelity's so good that it's like if you don't have the most and that's the thing is like I've seen that. I'm waiting for CGI to look like fucking real life. That's the thing is I always know when you're doing CGI, even when it's a fucking dragon and I'm supposed to know that it's CGI because that thing doesn't exist in real life. Yeah, I want the shit to be so good that I'm like I don't even fucking know. I'm like
that could be a real dragon, and I've just never seen one in real life before.
Did they have like a guy breeding iguanas in Mexico for like 30 years to like get to this point?
This is generations of iguana breeders. This is not just it has to be done over a long period of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm like expecting. And so like when you go see a high budget movie like this and you see like the CGI going in the reverse direction, and like it's really staggering. You could fucking perform a critical strike on me when I see scenes like that.
Yeah.
So so but otherwise the rest of it was good. I liked when he like stabbed it in the eye. I thought that was neat. It was weird. The one thing that like I struggled with Doctor Strange in this movie was like he's so like I don't know what his powers are. There's seemingly
Yeah,
everything
it
and
seems
nothing
like
all at
yeah,
once.
they're just introducing
Yeah,
new bullshit. Like there's one where he makes his hands into like
into
giant blue
Hydras.
hands.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's where he like got the yeah that he did that like two times where he threw a big hand or no he like summoned a big fish thing that like ate a
Right.
car that was gonna hit
Ate
a
the car.
lady or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Why
remember exactly.
why
Yeah.
do it like that though? Like why not
Yeah,
just
I know. I was like, that was so weird. Like,
Yeah.
why would he? He's never done something like that before. Like,
Yeah.
summoned another thing.
Yeah.
It made more sense with the hands, but that was also weird. I'm like, when
Yeah,
did
even the
Doctor Strange
hands.
learn to conjure like demon hands?
Yeah.
Because they looked weird.
It reminds me of like the
Um,
kind of shit we saw in like a Green Lantern. Like he was
yeah,
just
it.
like just
Well, no,
conjuring up weird shit.
yeah, that did, and then the buzzsaw did, but the demon hands didn't. But the demon hands made me feel like I missed a movie. Actually,
No.
a lot of stuff in this movie made me feel like I missed a movie. And like, I know I didn't watch WandaVision,
Hmm.
but like, as far as I can tell, all WandaVision did was ruin Wanda and make her evil, and she's doing that in this movie. So I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, that's fine. That's all consistent.
Well,
But
that
I'm
was
like, Doctor
interesting that she's the
Strange.
bad guy in the movie. I'm not sure how I feel about her motivation for being the bad guy.
Yeah, let's get up to the point where I haven't seen, and then you can take it from there, and then
Oh,
and then
okay.
I'll ask you
So,
questions about the end
what
and
happens
stuff.
next? They take the girl,
So
and then
so yeah, okay, so they stab it in the eye,
mhm,
and then oh well, yeah, okay, so like yeah, we were talking about the magic use. So like the
mhm.
fish thing was weird, the buzzsaw thing, and then throwing the bus, dude. They've thrown a bus in like 3 fucking movies now.
Yeah.
I swear, and then done something magical with it. I swear to God,
I
because they
think
haven't
every
in
movie has
Eternals.
to have a bus like
They
being
keep
thrown across
using
the city.
buses. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like ever since Dark Knight, you have to have like a long automobile like
Yeah.
flying across the screen, and it's got to be like an obstacle for somebody.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm seeing that scene like so much, and it's like
Mhm.
really boring. And I thought the buzzsaw was like really dumb. It didn't really seem like something Doctor Strange would
It
do.
didn't
He's
seem
not
like
really.
something that would be a good idea. Like any logical person would be like, "Hey, there's one projectile coming at me. Let me divide it into two equally large projectiles because it's
No,
just as dangerous." But
he just
whatever.
why didn't you just make a portal and have it fly back at the creature? That would have been
Right.
fucking cool. Like
Right. Or
no matter
turn
how
it into
many
like
times I've
dust
seen
or
it.
something.
Yeah, like I will say that like no matter how many times I see that, I do still think it's cool. Like even when Wong was like falling through the air and he like made the portal so he came out through the side, it was cool.
Yeah.
And he like hit the car. I was like, all right, cool. Um, I will say also while I'm like praising something and in a kind of good mood about the movie, all the comedy and like a lot of the dialogue that's like supposed to be sharp is like really sharp and good and witty and like is performed really well because Benedict Cumberbatch is saying it or like responding to it.
Yeah.
Um, and like there's like the one scene where I think like there's like 3 people talking to him and he like answers them all like in order and like keeps like his focus and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I loved that. That was
Yeah.
really
That was
great.
good.
And
Yeah.
then there was another line where Wanda had a couple good lines where there was like one where he was like, "Your children are made of magic," and she was like, "That's how all mothers make their children." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, then they save the girl, and then they take her to, I don't know, the place, and then he goes and talks to Wanda, and
Like the temple thing. Yeah.
yeah, and like this is kind of where like okay, so this is where the movie started to feel weird for me, and like now that I've come back from it, I realized I didn't like this movie because I feel like this is a kids movie. Like this is made for like 12-year-olds. That's
It's
really
funny
how
that
I
you say that because
feel.
you missed all the shit where it's like, there's no way this is a kids movie.
Oh man, like
Yeah,
because
dude, you
there's
should have stuck
in
it
this
out because
movie.
everything gets better
No, no,
after
no.
the time you left. But
I don't mean like oh man, like I'm sad of what I missed. I mean like oh man, I meant it more like exasperated. Like I don't like that like they're really bad at like walking that line with the tone. Like they never walk the line with the tone well. They always fuck it up. And I thought that happened in this movie where there was a part where like Wanda landed after she like broke the shield, and then she was like walking by, and they showed like a burnt up body. It's like, dude, what are we doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, man? I don't like I'm not that I'm opposed to seeing things like that, but it's just like there's nothing in this movie that's happened so far
yeah, I
that's
was not
prepared me
expecting
for
it. Yeah.
that. Yeah, and it's just like
Yeah, some of the
it
images
just
in this movie are horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess okay. So he goes to Wanda, and Wanda's just like, "Oh, I'm evil," and then he talks to her, and then
Hmm.
Wanda is just like, "My character's been ruined, so I'm just bad now." And then he's like, "Bummer," and then she comes to destroy the shield.
Well, okay, so
Um,
she's like corrupted by like some dark magic thing that she was seduced by. Like I don't mind that. I think that's like pretty cool and pretty on the nose for a Doctor Strange kind of thing. Like that's on brand for it. So I don't
yes,
yeah,
it
I don't mind that.
feels like Wanda was like a pretty intact character before WandaVision, and then they did something that it like yeah, sure, okay. Like it just seems like how they got there. It's like I don't like the idea. Like I get that her line about like having to kill Vision and then it meant nothing. I was like glad that she said that because I was like, ah, yeah, this is good that they're getting all the details straight about it,
Yeah.
and it like does really, you know, bring up the heftiness of the grief and everything. But I don't really like that. I don't know. It seems really over the
And she's
top.
like bitter about it.
No, it seems really over the top that she would like go into some kind of like weird state where she enslaves an entire town and like creates a like perfect. It seems like too extreme. Like
Yeah, I never really
may
watched WandaVision, so I don't know how they explain that.
yeah, that's kind of like what happened in well, you watched the first like 3 episodes or whatever. So like the way that it ended, the big reveal was like there was this other witch that was like trying to like I don't know get Wanda's power or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And she was like watching Wanda like the whole time, and then Wanda did this thing that was like using a lot of her own power, and it made her like vulnerable. So she like presented herself. It's like a witch that's like opposite the Scarlet Witch or something like that. I don't know, some
Okay.
weird shit. So,
Yeah.
anyways, they like fight at the end, and like of course Wanda wins, and then like I guess she like takes her book or I don't maybe that's what I don't know. I just think it's dumb because like Wanda isn't this character, and I wasn't like really bought into like how they got her here. She's mostly fine once you get past that, which I just brute force my way to do. But I wasn't like thrilled by what was going on. I was like really hoping that it was gonna be something janky, like I typed this morning, like that she switched places with like a different Wanda, because like it's so out of character, and I really liked Scarlet Witch, like
Mm.
after everything was said and done with Endgame. I thought Scarlet Witch was still like a pretty intact character.
I think it's an interesting way to go with that character because if she's all good, uh,
Yeah,
totally like
yeah,
singular purpose, she's just too strong for any enemy to fight, and that's not interesting. So I like
yeah.
the
I'm okay with her.
conflict.
I'm okay with her going evil. I just think that the way they got there is like a little messy.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
thing. It's like it's
yeah,
really cool that she's the bad guy in this movie, but I
yeah,
just don't like her
yeah.
motivation. I don't think it's strong
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I just feel like whatever they did in WandaVision, like get her here, I don't like it. I don't believe it. It just feels like you're like Wanda's bad for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just buy it, and it's like I guess so. Um, so yeah, so then she like that was cool. She like mirror imaged behind the dude and like told him to run, and it was like okay, we're sealing the powers of the Scarlet Witch, and this is like very witchy and evil, and I
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah,
She did some other like basic laser stuff too, but
yeah.
she did summon a cloud, I guess.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
she got out of the mirror dimension like using reflections or something, which was pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
It was cool to see her like stand up to Doctor Strange. Again, the problem is with this movie is it like constantly brings into question like it constantly puts on display like how powerful Doctor Strange is and how he never is useful in like any given situation that he's in when he's actually like in an action scene.
Um,
Like even when him and Wong were fighting the eyeball monster, I'm like, God, you guys are doing this so sloppily. Like the fucking chains, and you're both doing it, and it's like dragging you on buildings, and it's climbing up, and it's like destroying architecture, and now you gotta pull a fucking lamppost out of the ground. You guys are supposed to be superheroes.
yeah,
You can do so many things, dude. You can do
yeah.
so many fucking
You can
things, and you're just like,
conjure like like a giant cruise ship that has
yeah,
like an anchor, right? And then that thing that spins around that brings up the chain with the anchor on it. You can attach the chain to that. I don't know. That's just like
well, yeah,
spitballing.
Like, I mean, just make a portal and put it somewhere. Whatever, dude. Doctor Strange is like super fucking strong, and he just
What
seemed like he was
about
drunk.
okay? So
in that
there's a
scene.
part where they're fighting at the temple when they're fighting
Oh,
Wanda, and they make these like cannons materialize, and I'm like, why does it have to be this ancient technology? Like, why isn't it like a
they're-
rail gun or some shit?
yeah, I kept thinking that too. I hate how these movies like make it like guns are evil. Like they aren't the most advanced form of ranged projectile weaponry that we've developed. It's like
Yeah,
you
we
can't.
got guys using bows and arrows and shit.
You can infuse the bullets of the guns with holy shit. Like why? Because the bullets are made of evil? No, they're made of metal. It comes from the ground. That's like your whole fucking your things about Earth and natural shit. And like they should be. It's made of fucking metal. It's like from the Earth. It doesn't make any sense that they're like villainized the way that they are, and that these people. It's like why I'm all for like the diversity thing and including Chinese people in movies, but you always make them fucking look like retards with bows and arrows and like straw hats on and shit, man. It's like, dude,
Like
they
driving
invented
rickshaws around and shit. It's like, dude, this takes place in modern day. So, okay, so
I wanted to point out that like I hate that Wong feels really neutered for being the Sorcerer Supreme. Like Doctor
well, the
Strange
thing is, Wong
like,
is the kind of guy that's like, these are the rules, and I need to follow the
dude,
rules. And like Doctor Strange was the rule breaker. That's why he was like,
this isn't a good defense. Dude,
well,
Wong,
I mean, yeah.
Wong doesn't like use. He's fucking no, dude. The Sorcerer Supreme is supposed to be like some kind of defender. It's the protector of the Time Stone. Doctor Strange, he's not Rick Sanchez. He's the fucking guy that got picked for the job. He followed the job like really well. I don't think that anything that he did in Endgame or in Infinity War was because he's cavalier. I think that that's like the responsibility of the Sorcerer Supreme to make calculations like that and then give Thanos the Time Stone. I don't think that was because it was Stephen Strange. So
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, I feel like it is because it's Stephen Strange, but who knows?
I mean, this is like because like when you look at the previous Sorcerer Supreme, which was what's her face,
right?
She's so powerful.
Yeah, but
and
it
then
never occurred to her to
so
give
powerful.
Thanos the Time Stone. Like even when Bruce told her that
he's not
that
the
he
person
did
in
that
situation. He's not the person. She's not in that situation at the time. She's not the Time Lord or whatever I just called him.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
he's
that's
not the Pizza Supreme.
Yeah, whatever.
So I don't know. I just thought that like
important.
Wong. I just thought Wong was like not powerful, and I feel like he should be because he's the Sorcerer Supreme. And that was just like really dumb to just see him like standing around in like every scene.
He was really
and just using the same magic as like all the other fucking guys that like are getting told to run away.
I must have spaced out, but I can't remember why he decided to help Wanda find the spells.
The first 45 minutes are boring.
Yeah, because she's like, tell me what you know about the spells, and then he's like, you're gonna have to kill me, and then like I just blanked out, and then he's like telling her where to find the spells after that. Why does he do that?
What spells?
You know how like that lady destroyed the book that she was using, the Dreamcast?
No.
Remember when she was Dreamcasting and then the lady came out and stabbed the book? When Wong was all tied up?
No, I left before that.
Did you leave before that? No. So Wong was all tied up when you
No. They escape through a portal and then they go to like the most trite.
Yeah, but Wong didn't escape.
Reality. Yeah, I know, but I didn't see what happened to Wong because I didn't stick around.
Okay, so that's a problem I have with the movie overall. It does that a couple of times where it like something tense is happening, but it's not telling you. It's not like focusing on that. Like when they left Wong behind, you're like, oh my god, what's happening with Wanda? And Wong is there. He's like taken prisoner, but you don't know that because it like switches to Doctor Strange in America just walking around like the Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah.
And it's just like why is it like paced like that?
Which I didn't think they did well.
They only really walked around in one multiverse or one alternate universe. They didn't really go to any others.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, like okay, so do we have to talk more about the Wanda scene a little bit? I think so the Hydra hands we haven't talked about.
In the Wanda scene? What do you mean?
Yeah, okay, so she like goes through the reflections and she comes out of the ground and then
Hmm.
she's like, she has she has some funny lines. She says the thing about kids being made of magic, and then she
Hmm.
also remarks that everyone out there died,
Yeah.
that Stevens sacrificed instead of America, and I'm like, that's a really good point. And they don't talk about it at all, and it does make like a lot of this movie like feels very contrived, and they just brush over it. And that was like something that I like kept noticing, and I was like bored a lot of this, but I was like trying to pay attention. So anyways, then like he does like Hydra hands, he like summoned like
Uh-huh.
snakes, like a lot of
Oh,
them, and
right, 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 right.
I'm just like Doctor Strange has all the powers. I'm so tired of this. I don't buy anything that's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just all fucking circus tricks and shit. Everyone can just do whatever the fuck they want or not whatever the fuck they want whenever the movie needs them to, and I'm just so tired of it. And then they get shoved through a portal and they just do a scene that I feel like I've seen already, maybe in like Rise of Skywalker, where they just like went through a bunch of dimensions really fast, and I was just like not interested by it. I was just like, I feel I've seen this. It's like I get it that it should be in this movie, I guess, but it's like not doing anything for me. It looks
Yeah.
visually good, like that scene didn't look like shit, but
Yeah, I
like
thought it looked good.
it was cool objectively, but I was just like not. It really wasn't like. I'm like, wow, these places all look cool. I wish we could spend some time in them. I guess we're not. All right, it's over. Okay. Like I could,
Right.
I'm just like, ugh. And then they
So
landed
yeah.
in one, and immediately they like broke my immersion on it because like the top of it is all covered in flowers and stuff, which was fine. But then they were in like an alleyway, and it looked like a fucking movie set. And then they walked onto a place that had all flowers and stuff again, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why for that one part did you not continue that theme? Like that does not look like you walked out of a place as part of this world. This looks really stupid, and it like
Yeah,
just
they
I'm
also
already
use
the
that
movie's already
same
fucking with
exact
me.
like alleyway with the fence. Like they use that in a later scene in a different multiverse, in a different
Well, they
alternate
used the same
universe.
top of the building thing in that it's so I'm like okay with that. I got it. I was like okay, they're in New York
So
at the
do they
exact
always
same
end up
place.
in the same building? Is that what it is?
I guess. I mean, who
Weird.
knows why that happens? It could
Yeah.
be something significant to her. She said she's been to a couple of multiverses, so maybe she always goes to New York. I don't know. So yeah, then they walked out and then they just walked into like convenient writing tool, which just opened up all the doors to the past of the characters that we needed
Oh
to.
yeah,
And
where it
that's
was just you step on
you
a thing and it relives a memory.
yeah, and I was just like,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm like, this business would not just give you your deepest memory for free on the fucking sidewalk. Like, she just
Right.
established
Yeah.
food is free, but like, I assume regular businesses work a regular way. That guy was just hassling you for. No, the food wasn't free
The
because you
food
just made that
wasn't
guy beat
free.
himself up for
No.
3 weeks
Yeah.
for charging you for food that she
Which
stole.
I really didn't like that scene that made Doctor Strange seem like a dick. Like they just stole from a random
It
guy
was,
and then he
it
casted
was
a
like
spell that
over
like
the
fucked his life
top.
up.
Yeah, it
Like
was like
what?
over the top mean.
Yeah, that
It's
was
I'm okay
it was like
if like you want
cruel.
to have Doctor Strange have like a snarky remark or
Yeah.
I'm okay if you want to use this situation to accentuate the scene with humor, but it did feel like a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling like all these rocks and shakes that you are. I'm just feeling more of them.
So when
Like
you got
as we've
this is the
gotten
part
here.
when you got to the
Oh, no,
statue and then you're like, I'm
no,
done with
no,
this
so
movie.
when we got to the when we got to the when he stepped on the thing when he started seeing the thing where she gave him the watch. I
Yeah.
was just like, dude, I'm done with this. That's when I texted you, like, I think I'm gonna walk out. Like I can't do this.
Yeah. And then you
I was
walked
just,
out when you saw the statue.
and then she went on and it started showing and I was like, I guess I'm like, I might as well we'll see this. And then I kind of was like, I guess I'll kind of stay. I don't know. I didn't really do anything, but I'm like, they're doing. I'm like, whatever. And then I had to pee, and I was just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go pee and then not come back,
Yeah.
because I don't. There's really nothing like stopping me, and like the
Right.
fact, like in any other movie, I would just like not go pee. But I'm like the fact that I really want to leave to go. And then
Okay,
I'm just like,
well,
I'm not gonna come
if
back.
there's
So yeah,
anybody
then we
that
went
would
to the thing
continue
and saw the
watching past
statue.
half an hour in this video and want to
I
hear
believe
a
it was.
review from
Oh.
someone who actually watched the movie, so after
Yeah, well,
after that
the
part,
intro to the movie is not good, and it didn't keep me there. So like,
yeah,
take
yeah,
that
I
for what
mean,
it's worth.
that's
It's a valid
understandable. I think that it
response.
was the weakest part of the movie was the first act. For one thing, I kind of disagree. I think America Chavez was a pretty cool character. She was like
I didn't say
more,
she wasn't cool.
yeah, just she was like more
I said
humble
she
and
was flat.
charming.
I
She
said her
was what?
acting was flat. Her
Flat?
acting was flat.
Yeah,
Same
but
with Steph specifically. Like,
definitely more like humble than I would have expected from a character like that. Like usually,
she's like an incompetent child. She doesn't like know how
yeah,
to use her
but
power.
usually like a character like that would be written in a way where they're just like really good at everything, and so that wasn't the case. So that was refreshing.
I
Um,
guess so.
yeah, so
So like,
I
you're
thought she was
saying
good. I
that
thought she was
there's an
fine.
alternate movie where she just knows how to use her powers off the jump, and the movie still functions the same way?
I don't know, man. Anyway,
Yeah. No, well,
yeah,
I'm just
no, I don't know what you're even
it's like a
trying to say, but
positive.
we'll just move past it. It's not important. So, what's next? Okay, so after you left,
Opinions of the hosts on the show, isn't that the whole reason? Like, if we're not going to give our unique opinions on the things that we say, why
yeah,
are people listening?
right. Nobody's listening anyway.
I mean, that's the problem, is we're trying to get through to the shit that people are just going to click on videos with better thumbnails for.
Ah, it's true. Yeah, the thumbnail. That's what
I
it
do
is.
think our thumbnails are pretty good, but they're good in that like deep fried memes kind of way.
Yeah, I need to do better
And that's a
thumbnails. I
niche,
really
and
do.
that's a niche audience. Yeah.
So
I was just saying that, like, I don't think that they could write the story in a way where she doesn't know how to use her powers. So I don't think that it's a compliment to the writing that they made her. I don't think that it's like a unique decision, and a counter to like the popular thing to do to make her not be able to. I think that you need to do that in order for the story to function. So I don't think it's a feather in their cap. That's all I'm saying.
okay. So after you left, the Sorcerer Supreme in this universe is that guy from the
Wolf?
first movie, the black guy who's like wanted to take the powers back. You remember that guy?
Sure.
Yeah, and then they kind of trust him, and then it turns out he like drugs them, and then they wake up in this weird like lab thing. And I thought the lab thing was like, this is not really Marvel. This is not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is like all magic and shit.
Okay.
But they wake up, like that part when they had Silva
was-
in Skyfall.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was weird.
It was like white.
Yeah, and it was like
Ugh.
they were encased in glass, and it's like powers were suppressed and everything. Anyway,
There's a rip of it on fucking app movies already. I'm gonna just scrub through it.
okay. So after after that, he has to see the Illuminati, and you're like, ooh, it's Illuminati,
And is it Professor X?
bro. The first
Yeah.
guy. Okay, so the first guy you see is Peggy Carter as Captain Britain, right?
Oh,
You're like,
okay.
okay, I guess. And then you see the black girl from Captain Marvel, but she's Captain Marvel. And then a guy with like a tuning fork on his head, who's like, I guess he's supposed to be recognizable. I don't know who he is. I don't read the comics, but he can like whisper, and it like does sound waves and like blows people up and shit. And then it's John Krasinski as Reed Richards from Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Mr.
then
Fantastic?
what?
Wait, is Reed Richards Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. Yeah,
He's the stretchy guy, right?
he's the stretchy guy. Yeah,
Oh my god, John Krasinski's the stretchy guy?
yeah, weird.
Okay.
And then it's the old Professor X from the original
Yeah.
X-Men movies.
Yeah, Picard.
Yeah, it's Picard from the original
Yeah.
X-Men movies. It was
of
weird.
course
It's like, why
yeah.
are they putting all this in right now? And then in the next scene, they all get slayed by Wanda. She kills all of them. What the fuck?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Did she kill him in any cool ways?
So, that
This
guy.
canon's actually pretty good quality.
What?
So this canon's
Oh.
actually pretty good quality.
Well, the guy that could like scream and like hurt people with sound waves, she like makes his mouth disappear, and then he tries to scream, and then his head implodes. And then
It's awesome.
yeah. And then Mr. Fantastic, she just like stretches him out, turns him into like string cheese, and he just like his head explodes.
Oh,
And then Captain, no, then she fights Peggy Carter, and she throws the shield.
It looks like she did something to Wong, and you wanted to talk about that.
Oh, right. Well, it's just she had Wong tied up, and then he's like, we got to get the book, but the lady's like, no, I can't let you kill the book. I'm going to kill it. So she jumps out and kills the book,
Who's
and
the
then...
lady?
What?
Who's the lady?
Some lady. I don't know who it is. She's just
Some random ladies there?
She's one of the people in the temple. She's like a disciple of Doctor Strange or whatever the fuck.
Lights are still alive. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
oh my god! I just learned that the ads are like part of the runtime, and you can just skip them by scrubbing. Fuck you, slot lights! I'm up to your tricks.
Slot lights. Anyway, what were we
This is
talking
Jean
about?
Grey looking bitch. Is it Jean Grey?
No, there's a Jean Grey looking bitch.
Like a redheaded doctor.
Oh, that's the doctor from the first one. That's Rachel McAdams.
Oh, what? It is?
Yeah, she was in the first one. Remember?
Oh, I couldn't tell, but because of the quality, and because I'm just like, I'm going through weird scenes.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I never got why Wong decided to help Wanda. I don't know what she threatened him with. Again, I spaced out. Anyway, it was just weird that they introduced all these characters all at once, and then just kill them all in the next scene. I thought that was strange. Also, Professor X tells Doctor Strange that the Doctor Strange in their universe, they had to kill him because he was too dangerous to be left alive. I was like, okay, this is fine.
Turns out that's not true.
Right, so anyway, he, Wanda kills Captain Britain by, cutting her in half with her own shield, and then drops a giant statue on Captain Marvel and kills her that way. And then, inside
she's not Captain Marvel, she's Captain America.
What?
She's not Captain Marvel.
No, Captain Marvel is the other one.
Wait, Oh!
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was the one that was in Captain Marvel?
Holy
yeah,
shit.
she's stronger than... She was stronger than Thanos with the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the scene right now of it's Wanda's back is to the camera and they're all four standing there. I'm looking at it and I just was looking at her and I'm like, she's just strong black lady, right? I don't know what superhero she is, but she's probably she's just a
Captain Strong Black Lady.
It's like, oh shit, that's actually Captain Marvel and Wanda just crushes her and she dies?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then she kills Professor Xavier in his mind, and then kills him in real life.
Okay. Double tap.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a part when she beats Doctor Strange, and then uses America and uses her power to open the portal to the world that she's actually in. Because what Wanda's doing is she's controlling the Wanda that lives in this universe to do her shit. So she's actually in the universe they left from, but she's using a spell to dreamcast and control the version of herself.
Killing everyone?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah,
so the thing
at the end,
killing all
she
these
finally...
fucking top tier superheroes isn't even a fucking real person?
Well, it is a real person, but it's being controlled by the other Wanda.
Oh, so this it's not a projection.
It's not a projection. No, it's
she's mind controlling through the multiverse.
She's mind controlling, the other version of herself, which I think is actually really cool.
Why isn't this Wanda on this council? Wouldn't she be?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is.
I mean, yeah, because it's because I was thinking
she's neither stretchy nor bendy nor fiery.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things I was thinking about when they show, because there's one part where she shows a bunch of bunch of realities where like her kids are.
Hmm.
And I was just thinking, like, do you have your powers in those realities, or like are those realities where you didn't have powers and instead you had kids?
I don't
And
know.
I didn't stay through the movie to see like long enough, so then it got me questioning, like, not every reality, like everything's gonna line up, right? That's the whole thing. So like, it's convenient that like in this one, she's also powerful and also not like, so Doctor Strange got murdered and then but she didn't. Uh, I
Well,
don't
there's a
know. It's
part
because
at
it
the
seems
towards
like
the end when she visits her other self with the kids, and the other self wasn't afraid of her. So I think she did have powers in all the realities, but in those ones where she
mm,
has kids, she chose not to use them
mm.
at all.
Okay, well, okay,
Um,
continue on with the plot, I guess.
yeah.
I have
So yeah, so
questions.
there's a part when
But
she gets a hold of America and then uses her powers to open the portal to her prime Wanda where she actually is, where she's projecting
yeah,
from, and that was really cool. I thought that was really good. And then there's a part when
the
uh,
visuals.
what? Yeah, the visuals are really
Visuals.
cool and the idea of what's happening, like it's just really good.
Okay.
It's like totally fresh. I mean, to like open a portal like that to your other self and like to use like like all of it. I thought that was like super cool to project and like control the version of yourself in the other multiverse in order to accomplish something and then bring them back to like the main one that you left from. I just thought that was really good.
Okay.
There's so Doctor Strange gets like thrown out to another multiverse where everything's destroyed. Um, he meets another Doctor Strange, but that Doctor Strange is evil, so he fights him. And it's a pretty cool scene because he's fighting him with like he gets thrown against the piano and all this sheet music comes up, and then he like takes the notes off the sheet music and throws it at him, and the other guy takes like other notes off other sheet music. So that was pretty cool. And
Okay.
then as they're like throwing the spells at each other, it's like playing like music. I don't
Sounds.
know. It's
Okay.
really cool. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and then he finally gets the evil book that Wanda was reading out of it, but it exists in this universe, even though it's been destroyed in the Prime universe where they left
Uh-huh.
from. Um,
And they need the book.
yeah, he uses the book to control his other self that's in the other Prime universe.
Oh.
Uh, but it was that dead body that he buried at the beginning. So he's
Oh.
controlling the dead version of Doctor Strange. And then there's
Oh.
like these evil spirits that are like, hey, you can't do fucking dead people shit. And they're like taunting him and like trying to make it hard for him. And then he's like, I can control these things. So he's using like all the fucking death demons or whatever and
Mm.
like using their power and like combining with them. And that was really cool. But
Mm.
as that was happening, I thought to myself, like, this is actually horrifying. Like, if I was a kid, this would be so scary to watch because it
Uh,
looks really scary. You're scrubbing through it. Can you see it at the end there?
no, hold on. Yeah, I kind of stopped and just was listening.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, if I was a kid, I wouldn't have been allowed to watch this movie. A lot of it
Uh,
plays like a horror movie. And, in some ways, I don't think that's a benefit because there's this part that I'm talking about when he's casting.
yeah, this aesthetic is like kind of Dark Souls.
Yeah. And he's like dreamcasting. There's a part where he's dreamcasting and like meditating or whatever. And then the fucking demons are like taking over his body. And then the Rachel McAdams, her name is Christine. That's what her name is in the movie. What does she do? She like takes a vase out of the cabinet and puts like a flame to the vase and it sucks up the souls. I'm like, what is this? That was never set up. What? I don't get it. So that was kind of dumb. Honestly, I think that Christine's character is like kind of a detriment to the movie for things like that, or
Yeah,
when she's
like as soon as I'm like scrubbing through to try and find the demon scene, and like as soon as I saw that she's like there and like in the story, I was like, oh, that's not a good choice.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, she doesn't
exactly.
need to be anywhere near the like. She's just a weight on the fucking story, if anything. If you're gonna have her in scenes, like I can't imagine like what she adds or like what her purpose is.
Right, she really didn't add much to it. And then on top of that, there's a part when towards the middle of the movie when they first get captured by the black guy from the first movie, and then they're in the laboratory. She's the doctor from that's like studying them and testing them, right? And she's like, "Oh, you're in universe 800, and the universe you came from is universe 600." And I'm like, that's dumb, dude. That's how you just have a numbering system for all the universes. That's really dumb. That's really stupid.
Well, didn't they do that in Everything Everywhere All at Once? What was their what was their format?
I don't know.
They
I
had like
don't.
a prime. They more like referred to like people. They didn't really call the universes, but they referred to themselves as like prime or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean,
Um, I
the only way
I
that they
was
can explain it that made sense, I guess, is like their magnetic signature or something, and that's whatever. Why even include that? But anyway, so yeah, but I loved the part when he's controlling dead Doctor Strange and then all the demons and he like is using their strength and everything and then he's fighting Wanda with the demons
yeah.
and then right at the end, uh Wong tells him to take the powers from America and he's like, "No, I don't have to do that. Just use your powers." And she does and she sends Wanda through the portal to see the other Wanda where she has kids and then she has like a moment with them where she scares the kids because she's like all evil and everything, and
Uh,
the actual Wanda's like, I'll take care of them. They're gonna be loved here." And then she just like loses it. I mean, Wanda just gives up after that, and she returns back to the portal that she left through, and she's like, "I'll just destroy everything." So she destroys the evil book in all universes, and it looks like she killed herself. So that's
uh,
probably the end of that. Um, in the very end, Doctor Strange like is walking around outside, and then he's like screaming, and then he has the third eye, like the evil Doctor Strange that we saw earlier. So I mean, they kind of left it open for a sequel that, for some reason, using the evil book, made him turn like evil or something like that. That's probably going to be the next thing they do with him.
I see.
But in the mid-credit scene, Charlize Theron comes out, and she's like this purple bitch, and then she uses a sword and cuts into the universe. She uses
Word.
she,
Like like a
she
new.
uses a sword and cuts into the universe. Like you remember in the first
Does that
movie?
mean like the fabric of time, like
Yeah,
in
the
front of her,
like
or she's like a
right is
celestial
right
being
next
and
to
she
where
cuts
she
through
is,
it?
and she like cuts through it, and then it's the universe on the, in you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, but like she's like on a planet, right? She's not
No,
like
she's
in the
on Earth.
stars.
She's on
Okay,
Earth,
yeah,
and she's like, "Hey,
yeah,
Doctor Strange, you fucked this shit up." And then she
yeah,
takes the sword and cuts, and the
yeah,
through the slit of the
yeah. I
cut that
get
she
it.
creates is the
Yeah,
universe
sure,
on
I get it.
the other side. Sounds so ridiculous when I'm explaining it. It's like that's
Um,
actually really dumb. I'm not interested in what that is. I don't want to know.
um,
Who's this purple bitch? uh,
yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Are there images of her? Charlize Theron, Doctor
yeah, it's
Strange.
Charlize Theron, purple bitch.
I should have done that. Oh, she's like, uh, she's not. She doesn't have purple skin. She has like purple magic, purple color.
I don't know. Yeah, her clothes are purple.
Yeah,
She looks like a regular person, but her clothes are purple.
yeah, I got it. I thought she was like actual purple, like Thanos. You called her a purple person. You fucking
No,
idiot.
I said she's a purple bitch.
I'm pretty sure you said purple person at one point.
It was like Power Rangers, right?
I thought she
The
was like
red
I
Power
thought she was like a
Ranger.
female Thanos.
Well, no, well, like the red Power Ranger, right? It's not a red guy on the inside of that, right? It's just a regular guy, but he's still the red guy. That's what it's like. It's
Yeah,
like
but
a
when
Power
you
Ranger.
see, yeah, but I didn't see. You're like describing them to me, so like you
Yeah.
just called them a purple bitch, and I'm like, you can take that literally. Like, wow, there's a person, there's a female that's purple.
Yeah, in a Marvel movie, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, because I was like,
it's a
oh, are they
purple
trying to
bitch.
like and and you said she cut through reality, so I thought, and she had a sword. These all sound like villainy, so I thought they were like introducing like another Thanos kind of
I don't know
problem.
what they're introducing.
I was like, oh, I think she's like just a counterpart to Doctor Strange, and they go like on adventures together. She seems like she's like a neutral to good guy.
Oh, okay. Well, the other side is like the universe, but it's like the Dormammu universe.
Mm. So it's like green. It's got some green in it.
It looks like you know how like you remember those commercials
Yellow.
for nerds, the
Yeah.
candy.
Sure. Maybe.
It looks
I
like
don't know.
that.
Okay.
It's like all the planets and the nebula and the
Sure.
celestial bodies are all like the nerd like you know those
Well,
nerd clusters where it's like a gummy
yeah.
candy that
The
has
rope.
yeah everything looks
The
like nerds
nerds rope.
clusters.
Not the nerds cluster.
Yeah, the nerds cluster, the Andromeda nerds rope.
The nerds belt.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, some of this stuff actually does look pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like I said,
I was just
especially the
like,
third act. Like, I really like the third act. The second act, I could take it or leave it, especially all the cameos that it set up just to have them all get killed. It's like, why? Is it just to get people to watch and talk about this movie? And I think the first act was really boring. Also, they never explained how America got that power to travel multiverses.
oh my god! I
They
was
never
hoping that
explain
that was
it.
gonna happen too, because like
No.
when they showed the flashback of her like flying through with her family, which also is another thing that pissed me off because then it established that that thing has like vacuum powers,
Hmm.
and it wasn't consistent throughout the movie.
Yeah, it didn't suck everybody
Um,
in
yeah,
every
because in
time.
the first scene she got tackled through it by Doctor Strange, and then
Mhm.
in the second scene that happened again. I think he
Yeah.
did it because he dreamed that he did it, so he was like, "Oh, this will work."
Hmm.
And then yeah, in that one they got fucking sucked in like it was from Twister.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I was like, that was like another thing that bothered me. I was like,
They don't
this
explain it.
movie is just like, yeah, that's really dumb that they don't explain it. Because I was like, that didn't explain it either, and it just made all the other instances of it worse.
Yeah.
And then
So
yeah,
yeah,
then they
that
got
was
to that
definitely a
temple, and I
detriment to
really
the
had that
movie.
pissed.
And like I said, the story was thin. I think the story was thin because the only thing that's happening is that Wanda wants to be like in a universe with her kids and she wants to use America to get that. And Doctor Strange doesn't want to let that happen. And that's like the only story. There's no like
Yeah,
other kind of side motivations or anything like that.
and if you haven't seen WandaVision, it kind of sacrifices Wanda, like for a not really interesting plot, like a thin plot, like you said.
Yeah.
Because I'm just sitting here like, why is Wanda being like so irrational? Like she doesn't really, like, uh, yeah.
She
I'm
does
like,
act
I'm really bugged
irrationally.
that.
I
I
mean,
just
that's
don't.
on brand for Wanda, I think.
I don't know. She was like really stable at one point, and I don't know. Like I said, like I can buy her getting to being evil, but I just like I'm not impressed by the groundwork that they laid to get there. And so the story kind of suffers because, like Strange comes to see her and then she's like, "Oh, we got to talk about that thing." And he's like, "I don't want to." And then she's like, "Oh, well, we probably should because all of this is fake and I'm evil as fuck." And it's like, and then it's just like, "Oh, we're not really going to talk about it." And then the more that the movie goes, I'm like, I kind of feel like we need to talk about it because this is really dumb and it's fueling the whole movie. And I feel like as you guys talked about it for a second, like we could just move past this. And the movie's like, no. And I'm just like, I'm fucking, I'm bored and I'm unsatisfied by what's happening because it's not interesting and it's
Yeah,
not
okay, so I
really
think they were
providing
trying
any
to
answers that
I
are
think they were
interesting.
trying to also have a conflict with Doctor Strange by having like Christine involved, and then there's a part where Wanda's like, "If you give me America, I'll let you be in the universe with Christine." Um,
It, it
and they
felt
never really
really,
revisit that. So it
it,
would be interesting if like he actually did have to make a choice between like saving America and um, being with Christine, and he had to like sacrifice being with Christine because he does anyway. He has to go to a different universe from Christine. So what if it was like he has to like allow Christine to be killed or something in order to save America, something like
Yeah,
that.
he didn't go back to the original universe.
Uh, yeah, he did go back to the original universe, but that's the one where Christine is getting married to that guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like he had to like leave her like in a more permanent
Well, the new Christine
way.
that you see towards the end, the middle of the movie, is the Christine from the universe that they travel to. So
Yeah,
that's Christine
I know.
B.
She's got different hair. Yeah,
Right. And so that one doesn't. They don't. They
yeah.
go
She
to a
doesn't come
separate
back,
universe.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say like I was surprised that she was even in the movie in the first place. Like I thought that him like going to a wedding for her, like at first he like shows up and I didn't really know what was happening. I assumed it was like a funeral scene or something like that. It seemed the tone seemed kind of dour
Yeah.
at first, because that conversation that he had with the guy, and it just seemed like now that it's a wedding, it's like it just seemed that he would like bring that up so right away, and it just like puts that tone. But then it's like it's a wedding, and then it's like, oh, it's this girl, and it's like, what is she? Who even is? You know how long ago I saw that movie? Fucking
Right.
current people that are making
Right.
this movie, and you know how many times I've seen Doctor Strange since
Just
then,
for
and he
reference, Doctor
hasn't.
Strange. The first Doctor Strange was 6 years ago. 2016.
2016?
Yeah.
It was 2016.
Yeah.
That's pretty long for him
Yeah. That's
for
a
like a
really
school outing.
fucking long
So
time
like
ago.
So like the only character that I really think of when I think of Doctor Strange is Wong. Like the besides, Doctor Strange. It's like Wong and the cloak. And then maybe
Wong.
the
Yeah. And
master
the cloak.
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe the master lady that's bald. Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. I mean, she's dead though. She died in the first movie.
Oh yeah, she was alive in that timeline that they went back to
Yeah. Yeah.
in Infinity War or whatever. Okay. Um so Yeah, so I really felt like you don't need to drag this character. Like I'm surprised that they found a way to bring her into like the third act of the movie. That seems unwise. Because yeah, I felt like the fact that he was just there for a wedding, but then the wedding got interrupted, and it seemed like that we were done with that character. Like they just needed to like bring her in to have their little like closure scene. I felt like it was, I'm like, oh, I guess these characters needed that, but it feels weird. I don't know. It also felt like really selfish to me of Steven, because it's like you guys have been done for a really long time. There was actually 5 years where you weren't even fucking alive, and she's like had all this time to like move on, and clearly she has.
Right.
And so it just seemed like you're. I don't know if she invited you or if you showed up, but like, yeah, it just seemed like he brought up all this shit that was like so he could clear like his own conscience, which I don't know. It just felt like that's not something you want to do on the day that she's like cementing her future. Is
Yeah.
like dredge up all. I don't know. It was really off-putting to me. I was like, that's really weird, but I guess they need to do it because like we as an audience need to know that the character is like moved past it. So I was like,
Yeah, it
whatever.
just
But
seems so. It
it's
seems moot
to
to
me.
like bring up things that happened
Yeah.
before Infinity
Yeah.
War,
Yeah,
because
that was another thing. It felt petty. It was like, why do you give a shit about this anymore?
yeah, dude, that changed
was
everything, and you were in like a
forever ago. It was an
shadow realm for
eternity
like
ago.
5 fucking years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like you move on.
Yeah, get a different life. It's just completely different now. Yeah.
Change the slipcover on that waifu pillow of yours.
Yeah.
Right? There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, so overall, I think I talked about all the problems that I had with it. I mean, some of the lines were like silly. I think some of the CGI at the beginning was pretty lame.
Yeah.
I think how
Yeah, the
we
beginning's
see
rough for
America
sure.
crossing paths with Strange is kind of, it's not bad. Like if she's just a regular person
is-
in New York, and like
I mean,
it
that's
would have
a-
happened
I'm-
eventually.
I'm kind of I was actually okay with that. I didn't mind that they're like random bumping into each other.
Yeah,
Honestly,
because I mean,
cars.
they sent the monster to find her, and he was fighting the monsters. So
Yeah, I was
yeah,
okay
it
with
makes sense. Yeah,
with that. A lot of it was just like how things were like being presented. Like I said, that first scene just made me feel like, oh, this movie just feels cheap already.
Yeah.
Right out the gates, and I already feel like we're in Moon Knight territory, and that's not good.
at the end,
And-
at the end, she learns to use her powers, and then we last see her studying at the temple with the other acolytes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I already heard that she was like being set up to like have a Like when I heard her name, like when she said her name, I was like, oh, I've heard that before. And people are pissed that they're like giving her a show or something. I don't know
Oh, is that it's like a different show or?
why. I don't know. I just know the character's name was America. Like you don't forget a name like America Chavez when you hear it. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
when
Yeah,
you hear it a second time, completely devoid of the source that you heard it from the first time, you're like,
yeah,
that I have heard that before.
yeah. I like her
So yeah,
character. I don't know if I like it
I didn't think there was. I didn't
for
think
a
there was anything wrong with
TV
it.
show.
I just
Wouldn't
thought
watch a
that like
show with her as the main character, probably.
I mean, kid, like that's what I mean. Like the more that I watch the show, and like the more this movie, and I was just like, all this stuff is unappealing to me. And like when I was thinking about it on my way home, I was like, yeah, but kids would really like this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, I felt like this movie just was like aimed too
I don't
young.
know if a
And like,
kid would like the like I said, a
I mean,
lot of this stuff at the end is really scary.
well,
And there's a
when I
part where like evil Doctor Strange gets impaled on a fence outside the
well,
complex, and it's like, God, that's so scary to look at.
sure, when I think kids, I think more like kids that can go to the movies like on their own, like
Like
12-year-olds,
teenager, like
13-year-olds. Yeah.
13, yeah.
Like there are definitely gonna be kids that like go see it with their parents, but like that's what their parents are there for, so that they have like a fucking thing to grab onto when the fucking ghosts are on screen. I'm
Yeah.
looking at these guys, man. These are all edgy as fuck. Like kids like this. This is like a Fortnite skin. These fucking demon guys that are like
Yeah.
protecting Wanda, and then
Yeah.
like Doctor Strange makes like a cloak out of them and like flies around. It's like
Yeah. That shit
Dark
was
Souls
really
shit.
fucking cool.
Yeah, it looks really
Yeah.
fucking cool. It's really
Yeah.
on like it's like very Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's like perfect time to do something like that. Like I'm like seeing this stuff. There's like a shadowy, cloudy place with like a staircase that has like really nice like architecture and design to it. And it's all gray and
Yeah.
foggy. It looks like Forgotten Kingdom or some shit from like the third game. It's just like it has this like really cool like I think those kind of kids would be really into this. They'd be like, whoa, fucking oh man, Doctor Strange, so cool.
Yeah, and I
Like
think
they're
that a
all
lot of the things they
they're all
did in
hyped
this
to get
movie
the
were
Happy
really
Meal that
original,
has the
and that was refreshing. I mean,
yeah, I didn't. I've definitely never seen something like that before. I was like watching where he was like curling them all up into a ball, and then they like went behind him and made a cloak, and he like
yeah,
flew away. It
yeah.
reminded me of like what was that evil Superman that we saw? Like Brightburn.
Oh
It
yeah,
reminded
yeah,
me like he doesn't do anything in like that, but like the way the cloak was flowing and like the speed and like the intensity they like flew off with, it gave me that kind of a. I was like, whoa,
yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it didn't culminate in like a CGI robot or a CGI alien fight where they're fighting like a million aliens and like a laser beam in the sky. And he doesn't even like directly fight Wanda. The way they defeat her is that she realizes that uh, that the universes that she has kids are different from her own universes. She has to accept that, and that's like how America defeats her. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's like the problem with like the setup is like, can someone just say that to her? Like, because I feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
the whole time I'm thinking like, dude, just get over it. They're not you're not like even confront because like there was a part where like Doctor Strange was even like, what are you gonna do with the other Wanda? And I was
yeah,
like sad that they didn't make her say anything because I'm like that's the thing. Like your plan is so flawed. Like it takes like one
yeah,
YouTube comment to take your whole fucking plan down to the ground
yeah,
and you're not talking about it at all. And so it's like it's not really great grounds to plant the seeds of drama because I'm just like this is really dumb, and everything is just being catapulted forward because of this really dumb thing that no one is like giving the correct due diligence to, and like these characters are not stupid, so it's like hard to believe.
yeah. Well, I think it's time to start wrapping it up.
Sure.
So, I don't regret watching it, and I was thinking when I watch it again, maybe if someone I know didn't see it, I might go see it again with them. But I wouldn't be excited to watch it again because I'd have to wade through the first and second acts
I
in
would say
order to
go
get
see
to
a
the
late.
parts that I like.
Yeah, just go see a late showing. Like
Uh,
the more that we're talking about it, I'm kind of thinking like, man, I should just go see it after work and just go see the last 30 minutes of it.
yeah, yeah, that's what I would do. Just watch the end of it. Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah,
just walk into a showing, show up at like 5 and walk into a showing that started at like 3:45.
yeah, yeah. I would do that. Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm
Because
looking and at like 1 minute or like an hour and 10 is like when Wanda kills other like Fantastic Four people.
yeah,
You can walk into a movie that's like in the middle and see that scene, and then walking into another. Because dude, when I went, like every theater was playing this fucking. Dude, it's fucking Thursday, and every fucking theater in the movieplex was playing Doctor Strange.
yeah,
Pretty
dude.
much.
They were showing this movie every 15 minutes at the
Yeah,
movie theater I
yeah,
went to. It
dude. My shit was crazy.
was
Like I
wild.
was like looking at the screen, and it had like the VIP showings, and there was like three, and I was like, oh, and then I scrolled down a little further, and it's like standard showings. There was like five, and I was like, oh, and then there was another standard section for
Yeah,
some reason, and there was like 20 fucking
yeah,
showings. There was
yeah.
literally,
Same shit.
yeah, there
Yeah,
was literally one like every 15 minutes.
weird.
I was like, damn, dude, they're really like trying to push this shit. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's like a slow. That it's probably gotten better for these big budget movies because like the movie season has gotten slow, so like there's less like smaller things, and like
Well,
you
we're
said, the
officially in
pace is
summer.
changing. Yeah, I know, but I mean, like
This is the summer
there's
movie season.
yeah, but I mean, like there's particular like people aren't thinking of massive weight of unbearable talent when they think summer movies.
Right. Yeah.
So there's gonna be like less stuff. I think there's less stuff like that coming out in general, just because like as you said, the general taste for movie going is not to go out and see like small dramas. So I
Right.
think that there's already like a scale back in movies like that coming out, so they're like not competing for time slots. And then I think that there's just like I think that we still haven't ramped up all the way back into like regular movie going because of the after effects
I
of
really
COVID
don't think that we
or
ever will.
COVID ongoing. I'm not sure even where COVID's at anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we will just because of the general trend.
Yeah.
I think it exacerbated the trend that was like definitely starting to show.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
so back
also,
to Doctor Strange though.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to watch the whole thing again because I really didn't like the beginning. But
Yeah, the
I'd
beginning's
give it
certified rotten.
right. I'd give it a solid 5, maybe like a 4.5. Like I didn't hate it, and like all the stuff that happened at the end is what earned it the rating that it has. Because if the last act were anything like the first two acts, like this movie would have been a 2. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Because
yeah,
yeah, the first act just it felt very like off the assembly line.
yeah.
It
The
felt
first act is like a
it,
Marvel movie. The second act, I don't know what
yeah.
the second act is, but the third act is a horror movie. It's weird. I don't
Mhm.
like. They feel like 3 separate movies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would define it as the first act is from the beginning up until the first time that they go to a different universe running away from
Yeah, that's 40,
Wanda.
40
Yeah.
minutes. Because
Yeah.
I left at 45 minutes, and that's when they walk into the sanctum.
Right. Yeah, so that's when I would define the second act, and then I would
Okay.
say the third act would start let's see, when Wanda finally gets America and like sends her back to the main portal, and then Doctor Strange has to figure out, he gets sent to the other universe and he has to figure out how to get back or
Were they
control his
already
dead
going?
body.
Yeah, that yeah. Were they already going to the other Doctor? They were already going to the other Doctor Strange before they walked on that sidewalk projection thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like that just really like I was just like, wow, I can't believe that that's how they're going to like do
Yeah, that is.
exposition to us. I
Yeah,
was
that's
like, I can't
one of the
believe
worst forms of
that
exposition dump I've ever
yeah,
seen.
they just made this fucking like coincidence, and you just happen to be on the fucking sidewalk where no, I haven't seen any other business so far that's like you've walked by have a fucking sidewalk projector for the product that they're selling. But this one does. It does it for memories.
You know what? It reminded me of Back to the Future Part 2, that whole scene, including the projector thing, because there's a part in Back to the Future Part 2 that happens.
I don't remember that movie like as
Yeah.
clearly, so I can't comment. But that just felt really fucking lame. And both characters did it, and they both got like their
Yeah.
It's like what kind of fucking service do you, they ran off. They used your fucking product and left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they got
know
they
what?
got all the bang and none of the buck.
They also like kind of forced this thing where the watch was important to
Yeah,
him.
I was gonna say what happened with that. I was curious. That was a question I forgot about earlier.
Like you're asking, like, what did it pay off? Like
Yeah,
what?
well, yeah, what was because like they brought that back up. Like I thought they were done with that bitch, and then they
So he
brought that
needs
up.
like he needs a special book, right? He needs the Book
Mhm.
of Ashanti, which
Yeah,
Ashanti is an R&B singer from the early 2000s.
it's
So they need the
a
Book of
good book to have, though.
Ashanti to for something. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really matter because by the time they find it, Wanda finds them and destroys the book, so they don't even use it.
No.
But anyway, they go to get the Book of Ashanti, and it's like through this tunnel. And at the end of the tunnel, there's like a door that they can't open. And then he's like, "What is the combination? I don't remember." And then, out of nowhere, Christine is like, "Steven," and then she holds up his watch, and then he puts the watch in the door, and the door opens. But like she's like, I don't know how to open this door. Only Steven in our universe was able to do it. And then she knows that the watch is what opens the door. I don't get that. And then she also carries that watch around with her all the time. That's the only way to explain why she would have it at that moment. And that doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
So that's a really dumb story beat, was the watch in the door.
Well, were they
opening
in
the
love in
door.
that universe, and then they had to kill him because he was like a crazy person?
They didn't talk about whether he was in love with her or not, because
Oh, okay.
they were like, what? He asked that. He's like, you and the others, the Steven in this universe, what are you guys? And she's like, oh, we were still trying to figure that out. That's all they say about it. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds the same as like the
Yes.
universe they left.
I guess you could make an argument that she keeps it as like a memento because he's dead, and they never did figure it out, but she wishes they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know.
You know, but it's like the things that you described before that. That also sounded stupid. So I'm not trying to say that this movie isn't stupid, but
Yeah, it has a
like
lot
when
of
you
dumb
said
stuff
that, like
in it,
yeah, when you said that they like did all that stuff to get the book, and then Wanda just showed up, and destroyed it. It's like, oh, cool. I love
yeah,
when we dedicate a long part of the movie to. That's a
that
page in the
feels
Rise of
bad as a
Skywalker.
moviegoer.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
as
a
the
page out of
audience.
it's a page out of Last Jedi. Like, let's go to the casino planet. Oh, nothing happened.
Yeah, or we spend the whole previous movie getting to the planet that Luke Skywalker's on just so he can tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, that or that.
Jesus, what a giant middle finger to the audience.
Oh man.
Okay, well, that's it. It's 4.5 to a 5 out of 5. Out of 10. Out of 10, that's what I get.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, um,
You can't
I,
rate
I,
it. You didn't see the whole thing.
no,
Man.
I'm not trying to rate it. I'm trying to debate whether or not I want to make a comment. But like what I saw in the first 45 minutes like really made me feel like I'm just it really reaffirmed my opinion that like, man, you guys did not need to make movies after that fucking last movie that you made. Like after Endgame, you really only should have made movies for the people that needed their trilogies to conclude. So you needed like Guardians, and you needed, well, like Thor's trilogy was technically over, so I don't think we needed one for him, but like
Yeah.
whatever, I would have given you another Thor movie. But anyways, you needed to do Guardians, you needed to do Spider-Man, I'll give you a second Black Panther. You can have Ant-Man,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I would like another Ant-Man movie. That would be good.
and then is there anything else? It's like, I felt like after that, you guys should have closed the fucking book on this giant thing. It's just getting crazy. And another thing that I thought about this movie was and this was like something that was brought on by the scene with the tentacle monster, because I just felt like Doctor Strange was just being like such a putz in that scene. Like, these characters are in the end game, dude. These guys are like, these guys are like Souls level 500. Like these are not
Yeah.
fucking like level 1 characters just like fucking around like trying to figure out their builds. Like,
Yeah.
these people know what the fuck is up. Like, I don't want to see these characters like pulling out fucking chains and getting pulled up buildings by tentacle monsters. Like, you guys are erasing people's minds and shit in previous movies and
Yeah.
going through time and stuff. Like, I'm tired of seeing people
like
get like,
fucking Laurel and Hardy. You're
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
doing fucking
yeah,
slapstick. Like go on the side of a
Yeah,
streetcar
it's
and get pulled the other direction. God.
it's fucking dumb, man.
You fucking
It's
slip
fucking
on a banana
dumb.
peel
These-
trying to fight this guy. Come on.
Yeah, these characters need to be fucking pulling up plastic in front of each other and smashing watermelons. From what I've come to expect in these later things. It's
Yeah.
like, fucking Gallagher in these action scenes, these movies, and I'm just tired of like, and yeah, that's a like I just and that it's not gonna bode well if they're gonna like they need to take risks like right out the gate. You know, it's like I can't see a carbon cut like uh, it's hard because like I can see because I'm scrubbing through it that like there's some cool shit in this movie. You told me it's cool. You can't put that shit in the back. Like you gotta lead
Yeah.
with that shit.
Yeah, I put that
We've
shit at the
seen
beginning, yeah.
it's how I felt with Moon Knight too. It's like you can't lull me into the dude. Get with the fucking program. I've seen 30 of these fucking movies already. You gotta hit the ground fucking running with me. Like. And they
Yeah.
kind of did. They kind of did with that scene, that very first scene, but it's like really not great. It's like I didn't really like it. It was really not great. Like aside from the shitty CGI in the very beginning, like even like Doctor Strange's like little magic with the demon thing, it's like it's very like I've seen this before. I'm like it's really starting to weigh on me like how grindy the superhero journey has been. Like now it's like I don't give a shit that it's Doctor Strange's second movie and so this stuff should technically be fresh. I've seen a billion fucking superhero movies at this point. Like, you gotta do some crazy fucking shit for me. You can't just have him,
Yeah.
like, summon the. Like, he summons chains, but they're white in this. I mean, maybe because it's a different Doctor Strange. And he's got a ponytail instead of a, Steven's cut.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not enough, man. I gotta see some, real interesting stuff at this point. And I just didn't and then like a portal getting summoned in the shape of a star, also when that happened I didn't know that it was happening because of America's Power. I thought it was like because of that book, because that's the first scene that it happens in is in front of that
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
So you don't find out till later when she does it the second time when Wanda attacks her that that's like her thing. That's her whole fucking aesthetic is like a star, which is like okay. She didn't have the star in the beginning, like when she got when the bee landed on her there was no stars.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Was it like on her jacket?
Oh no, but when the bee
No, the
landed
portal-
on her, the
yeah,
portal was always a star.
Yeah, but I mean, why? What influenced that? Like, I'm saying the inciting incident doesn't lead to the design of the portal in any way.
It was
Like, it's
always
still-
like that.
So then, she made a jacket with a star on it
Yeah.
for the portal that she can't control.
Yeah, the jacket came after the portal for sure. Because she was wearing
she-
like
but has she
hospital
ever
clothes, and she was in the universe where everybody wears like
Yeah, that-
hospital scrubs.
Has she ever seen the portal though? She always looks like she's getting sucked through it from behind.
No, because in that one where her parents get sucked through it, she saw it. She's like looking at it. So
Wouldn't that be like a trauma? That's like Jesus, like designing the cross
like holding
thing.
it,
but,
like,
like-
it has a T-shirt
no,
with a cross
like-
on it.
Yeah, because it's like that. It's like that joke where like Jesus comes back and he's like, I don't really appreciate this design. I like
Yeah.
get why you guys did it, but like, it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd have the same opinion. She'd be like, I don't want to see that star. It ain't my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, shit ain't my family. Yeah.
She just gets it all on her fucking. It's got a tattoo of it above her pussy, or like I guess it would be like under her boobs now. That's
Oh
the
my
cool
god.
thing. It's like a chess piece.
Yeah, it would be a chess piece, probably. Yeah.
All right, well maybe I'll try and like. I'm probably definitely gonna try and watch this Cam thing later, and if I don't, I'll
Yeah.
try and definitely go see it on the cinema,
Yeah.
'cause
Let's watch
it's actually
that. Okay, that's the end of the stream, though. Goodbye.
all right.